everybody. Welcome to Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life.
Grains?
Yeah. It's been a long day. Let's start that one again.
It's like a zombie Christmas cracker joke. What's it called? What do vegan zombies like? Grains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's shit.
Yeah, it is. So what were you saying?
Welcome to the end of the year.
Yes.
End of year special.
Yeah.
End of 2018. If you're watching YouTube in the future.
Yeah.
You're wondering what year we were talking about?
Yes, it was 2018, not just the end of the year, the end of life as we know it.
Yeah, so this is, what is it? It's a special that we're going to basically incorporate everything good that happened in 2018 within metal, obviously.
And rock. Yeah.
Good in our opinion, not necessarily good in everyone else's opinion.
Yeah, of course.
But there you go.
It's all subjective, but for us it's certainly been, I don't know, I think it's been a good year. I think it's been a great year, particularly for music.
Music-wise it's been great.
Yeah.
Gig-wise it's been great. Yeah, I mean there's very little complaint, to be honest.
I don't think,
That's it. Yeah, it's the end. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, good year. See you in
year.
2019. Yeah, and of course we're also going to kind of incorporate our best albums of the year as well. Those will be up on the site too. 50 of them each, split into 5 articles each, so 10 in total each day. Just check them out and keep up with that as it goes along to see what the number one albums are. But then if you're watching this, you'll find out what the number one album is anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And I guess we'll probably kick off with that, won't we?
What, the number one album?
No, like
top
the
10.
albums, yeah.
So we'll just do it like a countdown.
Well, we'll stick
normally. So you
yeah.
want to go first?
I might as well, yeah. So yeah, before we get to my difficulty, funny enough, wasn't the top 10. Once I had them decided, it was a matter of, okay, well, what do I think was better, and so on. It was actually harder higher up, where it was like, well, why is that one there? I
struggled all the way through. I wrote them all out, listed 1 to 50. Well, I started off with, I probably made it harder myself. I just wrote the 50 albums down over time, and I got them, and that's what I wanted. And then I started trying to position them around, them like a chess kind of board. And every time I had them settled, I'd be like, no, that ain't right. There's no way that one was better than that one. Yeah. So I'd move them around again. And even then when I had them all finally settled and I believed I was done and I started writing up the articles, as I was writing the articles, I would change my mind.
Oh, okay. And you just
I'd be like, do you know what? This doesn't make sense. I put that one in the previous article, but that one was better than this one. So I kept going back in, editing articles, going, right, I'm taking you out and putting you there.
Oh, so yeah. I'm at least glad I was
the only ones that I was alright with was, like you said, probably most of the top 10, where my top 5 or 6, or maybe probably even my top 10 to be fair, were always my top 10, but I just didn't necessarily know which
order
one was going to be number 1.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a huge gulf in difference between my 1 and my 10. I actually probably don't think, in terms of how good the albums are, there's a huge gulf of difference between my 1 and maybe even my 15.
Yeah, You
know, this isn't like being at number 15 compared to being at number 1. It isn't that much better of an album. You know, I just think that's how good the year has been. There's been some...
Yeah,
they made it tough, man. It must be a good year. If you can just come out and just be like, well, these are the 10 good albums of the year, that's it, job done.
Yeah.
You know, that's a shit year.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. I'd even go as far to say, even if you go back as far to our 50ths, none of those albums, at least in my top 50, got lower than 9 out of 10.
Yeah, there isn't a single... I think some of... It depends who reviewed it.
That's true.
There were some in mine, which I really, really liked that you reviewed, that you didn't hate. Do you know what I mean? But you maybe gave an 8.
I saw a picture of one that didn't... because we don't know what we've got. All my clues have been when I've been going into our media library and putting my own stuff in. And I've seen a picture, and one popped up, well, 2, but one that more surprised me. And I was like, that didn't even get close to my top 50. How interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't know what position. I don't think it's in Brennan's top 10, but I don't know if it would be because of his fanboyism. That's it. Well, we'll say, right, number 10. I'm going to start my number 10. And this was very early on in the year. It's by a band called In Vain. The album is called Currents. Indie Recordings released it. And it's an extreme metal album, but one that doesn't just deliver on a heavy point. It's heavy as fuck. It's got all that. But it's more complex than that. I describe them as not an easy band to pigeonhole in the sense that it's so many different elements. Now, there's a lot of that nowadays. It's it's a combination of death, doom, melodic metal, and so on. But In Vain, to me, they threaded that line perfectly, where it was a perfectly balanced thing. And when it was switched to melodic metal, or if it was just crushing and heavy and so on, they nailed it. yeah, basically. So Veins Currents is my number 10. Great album.
And one I haven't actually listened to.
Yeah. No, yeah.
That's probably why it's not in my top 50.
Yeah.
if it's
There you go, yeah.
My 10th one's probably nice and straightforward, actually, I think. I'm just going to have to keep bringing my list up here because I forget what order they're in.
Yeah, yeah.
So I won't have to say too much about it, but it was Jord by Mole.
Oh, number 10.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
You know, I liked it as an album a lot. This is a bit one of the weird things, right? I liked it when it came out.
Yeah.
I listened to it quite a bit, and then I didn't really listen to it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went and saw them play
Yep.
with Ghost Bath. And then, you know how it happens sometimes, you come out there and I'm like, oh, I'll just listen to that album again.
Yeah.
And then probably from that point to now, it's been like a regular
Right.
play, which reminded me, right in time for the Christmas period, the end of year list, just how good it was. Because I'm not sure where, I probably would have featured, don't get me wrong, I probably would have featured, but if we hadn't gone to see them, because it come out quite a while ago,
it may
whether
not
or not it had featured like low, high down the list, like towards the top 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there you go, number 10.
Well, I won't say anything about that yet because it might feature in my top 10. So we'll get to me. Right, my number 9 is by Soul Attrition, and the album is Vash and Rain. It was self-released. Now, Soul Attrition is a solo project. It's of Josh Parlette. Don't know if I'm saying the last name right, mate. Sorry. And he actually plays bass for the Chicago sludge in noise trio Escape Is Not Freedom. Anyway, this is his solo work, and my God, he blew me away with this album. It's the debut, obviously the project is that as well, and it's like post-metal, but it's got grunge elements. It's sludgy as well, with alternative sort of vocals and things like that. And you might think grunge and post-rock, they kind of go together, but sludge and all that, I know if you hear grunge, if you don't like grunge, that might put you off. It would normally put me off, but it's not that kind of grunge.
That's exactly what I was thinking in my head. I was like, oh, fucking grunge.
Yeah, it's not that kind of grunge. It's simply a fantastic album. Like, it's one of those where you get it and you kind of like, because it's come personally as well, it's like, oh God, please don't let this be shit. So when it's not shit and you can kind of go, oh man, that's amazing work, that's brilliant, then it's even better. And like, the fact that it's a solo project as well, like, I think, man, like Josh I hope he's very proud of his work because it's fascinating. I think from beginning to end, it's brilliant. It's very varied, but it really, really nails like the word rain's in it, so it kind of makes you think of dreary day and stuff like that. And I think that's what it feels like when you listen to it.
Rain, dreary, grunge.
Yeah.
You're selling it, man.
It was a 10 out of 10 album, put it that way, yeah.
Alright, 9th on the list for mine. I think an album that featured in very, very highly in many, many people's top 10s. Actually, I was surprised how high it went.
Go on.
Is Firepower by Judas Priest. Which I think is an amazing album. I really do. It's not like, I don't want to say anything negative about it, but I've seen a lot of people that have them at like number 1 and 2, and I'm surprised by that.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic album. It's brilliant. Again, backed up probably by the fact that I saw it live, got to see some tracks from it, and that all kind of helps build its momentum through the year. Helps you keep coming back to listen to it more. But yeah, it's Priest, and at the end of the day, Priest, and it's not like I think you wrote the review for it, and you kind of alluded to it in the review, which is like it's not just for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? It's still relevant.
Yeah.
It's still new and fresh sounding, and it's exciting, and it's great to see that from a legend.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't break my top 10. In fact, I don't even know if it's in my top 50. But that's generally just because there was other stuff that I preferred. That's it. It's simple, But it was a great album. It's one of those where it's like, it didn't break the top 50 because there was so much better. But yeah, like as Brennan said, I totally agree with that. One of the important things is that it's not just like, you find a lot of like the older school bands, they do an album and so on, and it's kind of just like, yeah, it's alright, it's cool to have you back and stuff like that. It didn't feel like that with Judas Priest. It kind of felt like, oh yeah, you still got the fire.
He's still just going.
Power.
It's not like he's not doing like a farewell tour. He's just still going.
Yeah.
100% still touring, still making new music.
Yeah. Right, my number 8 is one you're probably way more familiar than I was until I listened to it, but it was good enough that it broke into my top 10, and it's by Skull Mold, and the album is Sorgia. Sorgia, am I saying it right?
Yeah. Well, as far as I know, it's Icelandic, so God knows.
Yep. Napalm Records released it, and it's just a damn good bloody album. One of the things that you alluded to in your review was about how cold it felt.
Yeah.
And like the glorious instrumentation. I can't tell what words. What's it called? And it just nails it. It's kind of like, it's folk metal, but I don't know. That was such a negative when you say it.
Yeah, I mean, you always feel like whenever you say folk anything that you have to defend it.
Yeah.
If you were defending this, if you did feel like you needed to, like I mean, we spoke about it a bit, it's definitely on the heavier side.
Yeah.
It's guitar-driven folk. You know what I mean? There's folk melodies in the guitars, but it's not like we're not talking flutes. We're not talking.
No,
violins.
yeah.
It's a very heavy album, I think, and I remember listening to it, and like you were saying about the cold, and it was like. It kind of I know this is not what Iceland's like these days, but this kind of made me think like this is what Iceland's like. You know what I mean? It was like it's cold, it's harsh. You know,
You're sure not thinking like the Antarctic instead of Iceland, like the Arctic. You know,
Iceland's pretty fucking cold. That's why they call it Iceland.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been there. But yeah. I mean, yeah, you're
and shit, isn't it?
Yeah, it blew me away when I eventually got. It was very late in the day that I kind of listened to this one, so like I said, it pushed its way in there because I do enjoy folk metal, and they don't come around that often, and a lot of the times it's played more for laughs. So it's kind of nice to have a serious record.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's this then? So my number
8.
8 is Rivers of Nile.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Where Owls Know My Name.
Yep. Good album. Very good album.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I mean, actually, even though this is only at number 8 on my list, this is one of the ones I kept toying with, and at one point it was in the number 1 spot, and then it was somewhere else, and I kept going back and forward. I wasn't big in terms of knowing a lot about Rivers of Nile before listening to this album. You know, but it just kind of blew me. I didn't realise how different they were, how progressive they are, the different types of instruments, the kind of jazzy stuff that they have going on.
Yeah, and good choice of words, progressive.
Yeah, so I remember it coming out. I remember listening to it. I remember reviewing it and being blown away by it. And like, even actually on the way here, I listened to one of the tracks from it on the way here.
Oh, okay.
You know, there you go.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Big fan.
Great
yes.
album. Well done.
I don't know where. I know it's in my top 50. I can't remember where it's positioned.
Obviously number 1.
No, it's not in the top 10. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Very deep.
Yeah. Right, my number 7 is by Necrophobic. It's Mark of the Necrogram, which was out by Central Media Records. This was a bit of a return for Necrophobic. They had a bit of a lineup change and some time away. So the kind of question that was floating around about them was, well, black metal, you know, black and death metal and so on, it's kind of moved on since their last album. Would they really kind of be able to keep up? I'll be honest, I wasn't very familiar with them. I'd heard of them, but I wasn't familiar enough with them. So I went into this with kind of fresh ears. I had nothing really to compare it to. I wasn't going, oh, is it going to be this? But I was aware of the history. And fuck me, if there was any concerns about anybody, they answered on this. This is, I would go as far to say this is the most fiery, most like, what's the word what I'd like to use, where it's like energized, re-energized sound, where it's like, oh my god, like it's like you knew, like you were like, we have to prove something, and they came up with this. It's again, it's almost like a band going, okay, well, we've been away for a fair few years. A lot of other bands have stepped up into the sort of black and death metal kind of scene. We've got to reclaim that shit, and they really go for it in this. I love this album. It was absolutely fantastic. Surprising as well, because I do enjoy a lot of black and death metal, a lot of death metal and stuff like that. But rarely do I go, oh, these are 10 out of 10 albums. You know, normally it's like, that's really good. It's an 8 or 9, maybe, depend. But this was a 10 out of 10. Fucking blew me away. Yeah, it's my number 7.
Stuff. And I think my next one is possibly the one that you were talking about when you said that it wouldn't have featured in your top 50 at all. I might be wrong.
Go on.
Oh no, it's not the next one. Sorry, ignore me. It's the one after that. My next one is Thy Antichrist.
Okay, yep, alright.
Wrath of the Beast.
Yeah, you're a big fan of this. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. But again, you know, not overly familiar with the band beforehand. Knew of them, but I wouldn't say like, you know, I knew I would have been able to like name albums and all that sort of stuff. Didn't realise they're one of those bands every now and then I guess that come along where you like you don't realise how long they've been around until you listen to them. Yeah. You realise actually they've got a tremendous reputation within death black metal. Yeah. American band, very, very hard working, hard tourers, you know, really, really work hard at the sound. And yeah, I was just blown away by the whole album, to be honest with you. I mean, I put it down at the time that it was easily my favourite black album release of the year so far. This was in February. Wow. And I very much doubt anyone will better this. Yeah. You know, which is a big claim to make in February. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And there are albums I think better it, but not by, you know, I'm talking fucking fractions here. Yeah. To be honest with you, so Yeah.
What's funny you say that
album.
is I've probably written about, slightly off topic, but I've probably written about 15 reviews now for albums that are coming out in January 2019. Yeah. And it surprised me because I hadn't really found anything. Then I did. And the bar, I'll give you a clue, the bar has been set for 2019 with an album that's released on January fucking 4th.
Okay.
So I mean, actually, there's the bar, let's see where we go from here, you know? Which you'll, actually, no, yeah. Yeah.
Can't say nothing.
I don't know, that probably got picked up anyway. Yeah. Fuck it, it's Soilwork's new album. It's Soilwork's new album.
That's great, because when we spoke about the 10 things that we were looking forward to next year, that was the one I put in my list, because the singles have been so bloody good. And it was just like, wow, these singles are amazing.
I've started.
I'm glad it backs it up the rest of the way, man.
Oh yeah, I was actually I didn't think I'd love it because it's Soilwork, but wow, that's your bar set out already.
Excellent. See them at Bloodstock as well.
Yeah. Right, my number 6. Now this is one that, my God, this is where my, to use a wrestling term, my smarkiness gets to come out, because this is by a band that will anyone have heard of, because they're a French band and their success, as little as it is only in France, and it's by L'Homme Absurde. And the album is called Sleepless, out by Soundage Productions. And god damn, this is a black metal. This is probably the black metal release of the year. Like that traditional black metal. Traditional black metal, but run through the whole modern filter where it doesn't sound like it's recorded in a garage, that kind of crap,
In a forest.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Really, really dark album. Really, really impressed. I'll be honest, we don't get loads from France, but when we do, I always find it tends to be the pop punk side of stuff that comes through. So when this came through, initially I was like, oh, it's cool, black metal. I didn't really have high hopes. I love being proved wrong. Do check this out. This is one I'd like, because a lot of these ones on the list I think they're out there, they're easy to find. L'Homme Absurde Sleepless isn't. Yeah. So try and find it, basically.
I've not heard of it at all.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's my number 6.
Right. My next one, and this is the one that I think was the one that you're possibly talking about.
This is your number 6, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is number 6. This is a dispute one.
But let's dispute then. So I put it down as Behemoth's "I Loved You at Your Darkest."
Okay, it's not what I thought. That was not what I thought, but I still can't believe that's top 10.
I'm surprised that anything else in my top 10 isn't in your top 50.
No, anyway. I didn't know if it was in your top 10. I saw the picture. It might have been in your 10 to 20, or 11 to 20 part.
Oh, right, okay. We'll talk about it after.
Yes. Really?
Yes. Yeah, I'm quite lucky with this, and I know exactly why I like it so much more than you do. Right? And this happens quite a bit, not just between us, but I would imagine between lots of people.
Go on.
You have been a Behemoth fan for a long time.
Yeah, fairly long time.
You have a kind of history with them. You have a preconceived idea of what you want from them. Mm-hmm. I have not been a Behemoth fan for a very long time at all.
Okay.
In fact, I wouldn't have really classed myself as a fan of them at all. Mm-hmm. Really. Probably other than the last year or two. So I get to go into this album with a completely open mind, looking forward to it. Okay. I reviewed... The only reason I probably checked out this album was because I was reviewing singles. And they released 3 singles. Yep. God Equals Dog, Wolves of Siberia. Released loads of singles. Probably even doing it wrong. Singles names out, but and because of the singles, I was like, I really enjoyed it. Yep. Now you reviewed it, and you didn't review it badly at all. I think you gave it like an 8.5 or something like that out of 10, which isn't bad.
Yeah, it was not a bad album
you did
at all.
say, I remember reading when I was putting it a snippet up into the article. You did say that the problem that you had with it was that for you it was Behemoth, kind of not being traditional Behemoth. Slightly changing, but like sitting in that middle ground.
That's right.
Not quite decided which way they're going to go.
That's right. I said they had 1 foot in the future, 1 foot in the past.
But that can only happen to a person listening to it if they're very aware of their past.
That's true, yeah.
To a person who has no inclination of their past and is not bothered about it, you just hear it as what it is. And as what it is, I think it's a fantastic album. And I would have probably given it a 10 out of 10. To be totally honest with you.
Wow, that's fantastic. What way to put it. You're right, because it's clearly two conflicting...
It's a blessing sometimes. It sucks that, part of you is like, how come I haven't listened to them in the past? I know who Behemoth are, of course I do. I've never not known, but I've just never really listened to them.
They never crossed...
just didn't. So that was that. So now you get into it and you're like, that's brilliant. It may be now that I go and listen to all the previous albums and come out of that thinking, the most recent one's terrible compared to them.
Fair enough.
It may be. But when listening to this album, like I said, it was a blessing. Having no preconceived idea of what it's going to sound like, listening to the singles and going, wow, Behemoth are fucking awesome. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I I wasn't looking for the Satanist 2. It wasn't like that point of view. But as Brennan said, my thing was, it was too halfway. Like, so I thought it is a great album. It's not to be stupid to say otherwise.
You didn't say negative.
You know,
it was literally just that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That for you, with what you know of them, it was like they want to kick on now, but they haven't quite kicked on. They're like just sort of sitting there, you know, in the middle ground.
Yeah, basically.
Not sure whether we should go this way, not sure whether we should go that way.
Yeah, it's like we want to do this, but we don't want to lose our fan base. That's kind of built us with the Satanists and things like that, and you know, so on. Fair enough. Right, number 5. Is this in your top 10?
No, it's in my top 20.
Right, okay. Tribulation Down Below, Century Media Records. You wrote the review.
I did, and it's a bloody fucking brilliant album. Mm-hmm. And it's only barely in my top 20. Like, you know what I mean? It was that one. It may even be number 11.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's very close.
Okay. Do you remember what your number 11? Because I remember what my number 11 is actually. And
no, I mean it's possibly this one.
Okay, cool.
It's possibly this one.
Well, yeah, Down Below, it's gothic, melancholic beauty, basically. It's an experience. You described it. And it was a very early release. That was instantly
it was like
pegged.
January or February, wasn't
it was
it?
right at the beginning of January.
Yeah.
And it was early pegged as, alright, this is going to be one of the best albums of the year. Like, early pegged as that. Yeah, really, really, really good album.
I remember fully expecting to dislike this album going into it. Mm-hmm. I really, really did, because I remember reading about it and about this whole gothic thing. And in my head, I'm thinking it's going to be like fucking Him or something like that.
Yeah.
So I went into it right down, like my opinion, right down at the ground, and come out of it like, do you know what I mean? Not like brought up halfway. I was like, fuck me. How wrong was I?
Yeah, fantastic.
The only reason it fell out of my top 10 in the end, when I was trying to, you know, you're trying to do those decisions, and you're like, is that as much as I love that album, probably at about halfway in this year, I didn't listen to it again.
Oh, okay.
It didn't last me the year, whereas some of the other albums that come out did.
Really? That's a good way of putting it, yeah.
And I don't know if that's just because purely, you know, if you listen to so much, man, some things just get lost in the shuffle.
It does, yeah.
Basically. And it may be that if I put a song of them on by now, I'll be like, oh, I was wrong.
It was also feel fresh again, wouldn't it? Yeah. Cool. Your number 5.
My number 5. Zealanada, Stranger Fruit.
Wow. This is my number 11.
Is it? Oh,
yeah, this is the one that couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so close to being in there.
Yeah. And like we said, you know, being in number 11, being number 15, you could just as easily have been number 2 or 3 or 4.
Absolutely.
In that position. Stranger Fruit, for me, had a massive impact. As much to do with the fact that I was so desperate for them to not go... What's the electronica shit called?
You didn't want them to go Sacrilegium.
You know, and there was... Possibly, maybe there wasn't, but it felt like there was a real risk of actually that might be their thing. You know, we've seen them live, they were amazing. The first album's got a collection of amazing songs, a collection of nonsense. Yeah. And it was like, what's going to happen here? And can anyone, you know, with so much hype, so much, you know, they're out with Prophets of Rage and all that.
Yeah.
How are they going to back this up? They can't. So I hoped for Stranger Fruit to be okay. I was like, please just be at least okay.
Yeah.
A nice 7 out of 10 that goes, yeah, look, you know what? It wasn't as good as the first one, but still solid.
Yep.
Let's see what they do next.
Yep.
Stranger Fruit, looking back on it with everything you know about the band now, is a million times better than the first release.
Yeah.
A million times.
Yep. It's more complete for starters.
Oh, absolutely. But there were just things that happened with it, like you know, reaffirm your metal life. You know, like the single Waste getting released.
Yeah.
And it was
yeah.
It was probably the closest they come to being a straight up black metal song.
Yeah.
You know, without too much of the kinks or anything like that in it, and being like, you know, those little yes. They're ours.
Yeah. Like say, we can safely sit back and go, cool. Yeah. It's an amazing album. Definitely one of the best of the year, without a shadow of a doubt. To say it only just missed out in the top 10. And as Brendan said, I would up to 15, maybe more interchangeable. All of them interchangeable. And Stranger Fruit could have easily been my number 1, much as it could have been my 11th. You know,
which is just and again just shows how strong metal is.
Yeah, well, lucky us.
Yeah.
Right, so this next one, my number 4 one, is a band I have banged on about a lot this year, including they also got a song in the top 10 songs of the year podcast, which is on SoundCloud. Go check that out. And it's Vermilia, and the album is Catkiet. I can't ever say the shit properly. I think that's close enough, right?
I watch quite a lot of Viking shows, so yeah, I think that's close enough. But you got to do it with a bit more like Viking attitude.
It's got the accent as well. Yeah, probably like that. Yeah, it's a self-released album, and it mixes black metal with pagan vocals, female pagan vocals. It's beautiful darkness. It's only 8 tracks long, and it is from beginning to end. It's fucking stunning. This is gonna sound really stupid. I hate that Merca turned up this year.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Vermilia is Merca but better.
Yeah.
But Merca's getting the attention for reasons I'm not entirely clear why.
Yeah, somebody can feel free to explain that to me
Yeah.
as well, because what the fuck?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know enough. I've reviewed singles of Merca, I've listened to Merca, and we've even had the displeasure of seeing her do a song live.
Yep.
And I really don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it at all. I think it's terrible.
And then like I said, then there's Vermilia. Having to self-release this album, which is an absolute banger, the 4th best album of 2018 in my opinion. Just out there. Go to Bandcamp, check it out. If you like Merca, if you like that style, you're gonna love this, and hopefully you'll be in agreement with us when it's like, oh shit, actually, yeah, this is what people should be talking about. You know, I'm banging on about Bloodstock, the book, Vermilia as well for next year. They would fit so great.
The good thing is that you would imagine that Merca are a download kind of band.
Yeah.
So that hopefully we won't get Merca there. There's nothing else.
That's my number 4.
Yeah, strangely, actually, Vermilia's not even in my top 50. And I do like the album too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It was no, oh, this album shit, I don't want it in there. I actually really, really like it. Maybe that was an accidental omission on my part. My number 4?
Yep.
Am I on? Yeah, number 4 is Amorphous.
Oh, wow.
Queen of
Amorphous,
Time.
Jesus. It's in my top 50. I can't remember where.
Yeah. Again, this is another one that came out quite early in the year, May. And I didn't want to... Sometimes you review stuff because you need to review stuff rather than that you particularly want to listen to something. And I didn't really want to listen to this because I kind of had a feeling I would know exactly what it was going to be like. I'd heard it was a multi-genre, progressive, lots of clean singing, all that sort of stuff. You know,
it does give you a picture.
And I was just like, oh God, I'll do it then. Haven't written a negative review for a while. You know, let's listen to it and I can write about how much it fucking sucks.
If you ever,
jump in.
If we ever just jump in, if you ever go to the site and think, why have these guys added, like, why have they reviewed Black Velvet Rides as well and Fall Out Boy? Probably because we're like, you know what? Yeah. Let's give something really different a go and see how it turns out. Yeah. Normally doesn't turn out well. And you're right, that's why you went into Amorphous.
Well, and I was right. But this is the great thing about us. Let's blow our own trumpets a little bit here. Is that I'm not so stubborn and obstinate and pig-headed that I would listen to it then and I've already made my mind up, so it's going to score lowly. I quite happily have my mind changed. Yeah. And I went into that expecting I wasn't expecting it to be like, I don't know, like a new Limp Bizkit album. I was expecting it to be like a 5 or a 6.
Yep.
You know, I know they're a talented group and all that sort of stuff. And then as I started liking them a little bit as I was doing research on them. I remember doing the research on them. And finding out that they almost do a thing that we would frown. They do we definitely frown upon in metal over their career, which is that they have changed dramatically.
Oh, okay.
So on their debut, they were a straight up death metal band.
Oh.
No clean singing, no keys, no nothing. 4 members, 3-minute blast songs, like Slayer with black metal vocals.
Right.
But and they've pretty much all stayed together as a band as well. They haven't changed members very much, all right? But they always apparently agreed that, you know, it was a case of we're not going to be a genre, we're going to go where it goes. And they decided on the next album, they brought a keyboardist in, and they became more mellow death. Okay. Then the next album, they brought a clean singer in, and they became something different. The next one, they brought, and they changed it like that.
How confusing.
So, you know, if you're an Amorphous fan, you obviously must be in for the whole journey.
Either that, or they're just picking them up as they get.
Yeah, maybe. But, you know, Queen of Time, when I listen to it, like, there isn't a genre you can come up with in your head, well, there probably is, because there's so fucking many of them, that doesn't feature on this album. I mean, it's power, it's
grind,
it's thrash, there's black metal.
Did they do party grind?
Yeah. You know what that is. Sounds like a sex move.
Positive grind, what that is, mate.
There are Oriental themes in there.
Oh, wow.
On the way here, I listened to a song which has a very large saxophone section. It has everything in it. And I wrote in the review, and I'm even saying it now in my head, you're thinking, that sounds great, but how can it possibly work?
Right.
It's just too much. But it don't. It works. It's just like, it's so well put together, gently used. Then, you know, it's not like a case of just throw everything at a song. You listen to the song, you listen to the album, and I don't know if it's meant to be, but it's a whole concept.
Yep.
You know, and you do get it. You know, so well put together, so well written, so well played, sung. But like it's a gentle bit of folk. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, now we'll do a folk song, and hey, now we'll do a death metal song. the song, all the songs, you get like an 8-minute long song that just moves through different structures and sections all the way through. And yeah, I was blown away by it. Enough so, for me to still be very blown away by it today.
Yeah. Your 4th best album of the year.
Yeah. Have that, you bastards.
Right, this is where things get interesting. So I'm at number 3.
We should have like a little sound effect, shouldn't we, for the top 3?
Bum, bum, bum.
There we go.
Number 3. For a lot of people out there, just I think more on a personal level, none of the big magazines or websites have really banged about this one, but I've noticed there personally, like, people who like rock and metal, a lot of them are putting this as their number 1 album. It's quite late in the day as well. It came out, and it's, if you know it, as I'm about to say it, you'll be like, oh yeah, of course. It's In the Woods' new album, Seize the Day, out by Demure Morty Productions. This is, fuck me, like, it's similar to almost what you said. If you want an album that just does everything, yet somehow makes it all work, this is In the Woods. It's very, very leans way towards more progressive, but with elements of doom and death thrown in there, and holy shit, is this a rewarding listen. I didn't know anything by In the Woods when I went into this. I was like, okay, cool. Album review got to be done. It's one of the promos, let me do it, and so on. It's just one of those where it's like, holy shit, this is stunning, absolutely stunning. And I have not seen a negative review about this album. Everyone that's listened to it has gone, that's fucking excellent. That's all I ever see. It's the 3rd best album of the year, easily, and it could have easily been my number 1, but it isn't. Yeah.
And I haven't listened to it yet.
Then
that's
why
one.
I'm
not going to mention it at all.
Yeah, that's one for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I did just remember what my 11th one is though.
Go on.
It's not Tribulation. My 11th album is Head Cage by Pig Destroyer.
Oh wow! Pig Destroyer getting in the top 11,
which blew me away. I actually saw that album in someone else's top 10 and as the number 1, which surprised me, but not by much.
Yeah, because it's your number 11. Yeah.
Yeah. Dun dun dun. My 3rd one. Parkway Drive.
No way.
Reverence.
Top 10.
Yeah.
I think it's in my top 20. Yeah, of course it would be, because it completely changed your opinion on that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to be fair, I'm surprised that you didn't think it was going to be my number 1.
No.
And it could have been. There was a period of time that it would have been. And it hasn't died on me. Like, it hasn't, I still think it is an absolutely fantastic album. And this comes from a person who, if you'd asked me about Parkway Drive
6 months ago,
I would have told you there's not a hope in hell of me ever listening to them.
Yep.
Because that is not my cup of tea. This album didn't change my opinion of Parkway Drive. They changed their style. Right. And that's why I can sink in with it now.
Yep.
It doesn't change the fact that for a lot of their earlier work, I still think it's tripe.
Yep.
I absolutely think it's tripe. I've tried to listen backwards. The album before this I quite liked, because that was the start of the change.
Yep.
And then I went back one more than that, and I was like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, that's where this ends.
You almost ruined it. That's you out of number 1, mate. You know what I mean? But Reverence is a strong album.
Yeah.
And I know that we're all so metal, so we're not allowed to say that Parkway Drive are good.
It's fucking stupid.
No, but you know the score.
Yeah, I know the score.
The core, they're part of the core and all that sort of stuff. The reality of it is that the new album, if that had been their debut, and in a way it is, into this new style of Parkway Drive, people would have raved about it. It's only because of their history that people are pissed with them. And actually, if you don't like them because they're not very good, and then they change to something else, isn't that a good thing?
Shouldn't you give them another go? Yeah.
You'd be like, well, I didn't like you before, so now you've changed. It's like, well, try it now then.
That metalcore thing just means they get lumped in with a group, as if like metalcore is automatically shit. I know there's a lot of bad metalcore bands out there, but there are a lot of great metalcore bands out there.
Yeah.
And Parkway Drive happen to be one of them.
It's ridiculous that so core is shit. If you have the word core in it, it's shit. Like if it doesn't have the word core in it, you're automatically good. But we know that's not the case. There is a lot of shit black metal, a lot of shit death metal, grind, thrash, you name it.
Yeah, exactly.
Every genre has shit in it, just like every genre has gems in it as well. And Parkway Drive were shit.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In my opinion, I did not like a lot of their stuff. I love what they're trying to do. I'm not going to lie about it. Everyone will go, yeah, they've gone mainstream, they've gone commercial. Yeah, I know. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Yeah. And I'm actually completely okay with a band deciding, do you know what? We want to make a play for the bigger stages. We want to go for it. We're not going to release a radio-friendly song. These songs aren't radio-friendly. They're still plenty heavy.
Yep.
I would argue that actually listening to these compared to the older song, because there's a better production on, they sound heavier.
Well, it's interesting you say about making a play for bigger stages. They're making a play, but it's like that's seen as a negative for some reason.
Yeah, I know.
Yet when the release is so fucking good as Reverence is, why do we have a problem with it?
They make a great release, They've upped that stage
show
like 20-fold.
Yep.
And what are we pissed that maybe they might one day knock Def Leppard off of the main stage at Download?
Yeah, like what are we angry about?
We
Do you know
need
what I mean?
bands to do this. Otherwise, we're never gonna. No one's gonna. If you've got to be, they have to be allowed to be ambitious.
Do you
I mean,
think?
what is the point of them trying to achieve anything if the fans are like you're only allowed to achieve up to that point, but then if you go past that, we won't like you anymore.
Yeah, do you think the fact that Bullet from Valentine made a similar play in a different direction shortly, not massive, not like shortly, it wasn't like a week after, but close enough, that also that's kind of twisted people's view?
I know, because I think the people that hate Parkway Drive would probably hate Bullet for My Valentine anyway.
Yep.
I don't think it's that at all. I just think that I think it's just two things, right? Firstly, we know that negative people are vocal.
Yep. Oh, right? Yeah.
We can say, for example, the Bloodstock forums. A lot of people do want them to play at Bloodstock. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll be surprised at how many comments are pro it. But there are a big chunk of comments saying no.
No.
However, when you think about the fact that Bloodstock forum on Facebook has something like 1,000 members, and Bloodstock sells out 20,000 people.
Yeah.
The vocal and out of them 1,000 members, it's 30 people saying no.
No, yeah.
It's negative people are vocal.
Yep.
So actually, all this hate that they're getting, it may not actually translate to real life. It's just what you happen to pick up on social media.
Yeah, it's the one that jumps out at you.
I think it's that, and I think secondly, I think it sounds a bit strange, and I kind of understand this a little bit. Is that sometimes people might think that you because you haven't come from like this rich history and with great albums and great debuts and great tours and everything like that, they maybe don't deserve to step up. I'm not saying that I think that's right, because I don't. Mm-hmm. But I can see why people might think that way. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, why should Parkway Drive now have one good album out and be a headliner? Yeah. I can understand that thinking, even though I think you're wrong. Yep. That's the truth of it. For me, I think it's a fantastic album. Well done to them. Looking forward to seeing them next year. That's not a Bloodstock slip, by the way. That's at Alexandria Palace.
Yeah, that's in February. Yeah,
everyone's like, they know about
confirmed.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, we'll jump in and say it. We joked about it last time we talked, and you put a great case forward. Yeah. Before then, we were all in the impression that it was going to be a certain other band. It's now not going to be. So it pretty much seems, because it's never confirmed, it won't be them. So now everything seems to point towards Parkway Drive.
I think a lot does, but we've been thrown down this path a few times there now, haven't we?
Yeah. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not a guarantee. I remember when I put it in my 5 bands I'd like to headline Bloodstock. It was put in partly tongue in cheek because I didn't believe it would ever happen. Yep. It would be now my most likely.
Yeah. Now all the percentages have gone up bit by bit. Yeah. Right. Well, my number 2 album of the year, the second best album of the year, is again one that I think when people hear will go, of course. It's been out for a while now, and it's Conjurer. Maya, our Holy Roar Records. Fuck, what an album this was. So, it's been a great year for me and Conjurer. I was introduced to them this year, the album, then I got to see them live at the Black Heart, then I got to see in Camden, London, I got to see them at Bloodstock, and it's just been a great follow along and so on. And they're cool dudes as well. We've even run some interviews with them, 2 interviews about Bloodstock and about the album on the site as well. So they're considering the praise they've received from the mainstream press as much as anything else. Yep. This is consistently, I think, although it's not, I haven't seen it number 1, I've seen it in top 10s everywhere. It's what can you say? It's fucking heavy as hell, but it isn't that heavy for the sake of being heavy. It's incredibly, I don't want to say doomy, but incredibly what's the word? Depressive. It's just assaults your fucking ears basically. It was to me a game-changing album. I thought for sure for a long time it would be the number 1 album of the year. They really, really come out of nowhere, and for a British band as well. Yeah. Good on them. Yeah.
Well done to them. It's a very good album.
Yeah.
I know my opinion isn't going to mean shit now, having come off the back of just put Parkway Drive at number 3. But I like the album a lot. Yep. I like the band. I don't get exactly the fuss.
Right, fair enough.
I think it's very, very strong, and it is in my top 50, but I think it's in my 20s.
Right.
Somewhere like that. That's the truth of it. Very, very good album. I'm not quite yet there with why people are blown away by it.
Not quite on board,
I think it's strong. I think it's like a good 8 out of 10 or something like that, But there you go. That's the way it goes sometimes, isn't it?
You're wrong.
I am wrong. I'm always wrong.
Yes. So your number 2 then.
My number 2
is your second best album of 2018. Surprise us.
Okay. Desolation by Chemist. That is my second favourite album, and this one I'm
not surprised. Yeah.
In the number 1 spot quite a lot.
Okay.
This is quite a surprise one for me. Maybe it's not, right? I'm not huge on Doom. Right? I'm not.
That's fair.
I like it, but it's not like my go-to genre by any means. Like if I'm in the car or anything like that, it's not Doom that I'm looking at. Up in the morning, do you know what I mean? 40-mile journey to work. It's like, that's good. I'm gonna just drive into somebody. This album, I guess it kind of worked with me a little bit better because it's not straight Doom. There's quite a bit of a mix in there again. There's some good thrashing kind of guitars. It's catchy. The vocals aren't super low tone, depressive, that sort of stuff. I didn't know anything about Chemist before listening to the album, and I loved it. I love it still. I think it's a fantastic album.
It is a fantastic album, yeah.
More of Time, the last song on it, it's like a 10-12 minute fucking epic. And
I
remember loving the album up to that point, and then when it ends, when the album ends with a song like that, you're like, this better be good, because if you give me like 10 minutes of average,
static
it's
noise
going to kill
shit.
the whole album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it was just like, after all of that I loved, you then
got
went and
that.
fucking, yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So massive
I think
album for me
it's
this
my
year.
number 12.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I remember. I know it's in your list somewhere because again, I saw that you
saw the
uploaded
picture. Yeah. Absolutely incredible album. You're absolutely right. And as you said, to call it Doom is not to do it justice because Doom's so. I think too varied as well.
People off as well a little bit. Like if you're not a fan of Doom, you can still listen to Desolation and come away like in love with it. It's not straightforward Doom for Doom fans.
Yep.
There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
They're a band I'm quite excited about now.
Really
love to see. And it's a band I'll be watching closely now, man. I mean, I think it's like their second or third album, so they're not like they've been around for 30 years or anything like that. But yeah, good on them.
Which brings us to number 1.
Number 1.
Now,
dun, dun, dun.
Again, I guess this is one of those where it's like, if you've been watching us, not watching us, because we haven't been doing this long enough, but you've been listening to us for a while, you might, and if you've got to know us, or if you know us personally, and you're fans of our music as well, you probably have an inkling what my number 1 album is, because it hasn't been the other fucking 9, and it had to be in the top 10. The moment this album came out, it was pretty much confirmed, and it's never changed. When I wrote this list, this was the first album I wrote, and I didn't put numbers up for either as well. I just I gave you that list. We basically broke the site down to what was 9, 9.5 and 10, and it was something like 154 albums. And then I went through that and I went, right, what's not in there, what's not in there, what's not in there. I started remove until I hit 50 and was like, those are 50. And I then was like, right, you doing a numbering thing. But the idea was I was going to start 50 backwards. But I just straight away, I put this number 1. Because I knew it wouldn't be topped. My favourite album, the best album of 2018, is Jord by Moll, out by Holy War Records. Now, I'm going to read you what I wrote because paragraph I wrote in a review because I think, to me, it sums it up perfectly. And I love it when I reread my stuff and I think, I'm blowing my own trumpet here. It's like, that's really good,
Who wrote that? Oh, me.
Yeah, me. Blending atmospheric black metal with post-rock, Moll deliver a masterclass in invention and brutality. The progressive melodies, riffs and hooks, strong enough to reduce people to tears. Screeching vocals vile enough to render fat from your body. And drumming so intense you'll be hearing ringing in your ears for days afterwards. Moll have crafted something special with Jord. Don't be foolish enough to miss out. It is the best album of the year. And if Brendan already mentioned when he talked about it and why I was keeping stum. If I needed confirmation, now I was in a similar point. I did this album with the Deaf, and then I just kind of stopped for a bit. And then when they announced the support for Ghost Bath, I was stoked. 2 of my favourite bands on the stage together, and then we saw them. And since that point, it's been back on repeat play again because it was just a reminder. And adding that to it as well, and seeing an incredible 30-minute performance, so it fucking was as well. It's the best album of the year. I think it's wow. Yeah, wow. Love it. Yes.
There you go.
Now, can you do your number 1 the way I did it? Don't reveal straight away. I want to guess. It's Machine Head's Catharsis. I'm joking. It bloody better not
Ghost prequel.
Yeah. No, that's actually interesting. I'm not too sure what your number 1 would be going off this.
It's in your top 10.
What did I miss?
You know what it is already. You just forgotten. That's what it is.
Yeah, go on.
So my number 1 is Sorgear by Skalmold.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah.
Your number 10?
No, it was like 7.
Oh, yeah.
7, yeah.
You know, I've been trumpeting on about this album for a while since it come out, basically, and it blew me away. I actually remember when I wrote the review, I was just flicking back through what I wrote there, and the last line I wrote in the review was, "This is quite possibly album of the year for me. Amazing job." And this was way back when it came out, like 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
And it stayed there, to be honest. You kind of said pretty much all I need to say about it when you were talking about it anyway, to be honest with you. I didn't go into this again thinking I was going to be blown away by it because, you know, it's a good folk metal. And I think I remember thinking, I fancy a bit of this. You know, it's Icelandic. I've not really heard that sort of side of things.
True.
Viking/folk metal in it. And then I was intrigued by the fact that I couldn't, trying to write the review and everything was written in Icelandic. All the song titles are
I hate that
characters
shit.
all over the place.
Copy and pasting everything.
Skalmold's name themselves is about 2 alt code kind of characters in there.
Yep.
But everything's sung in Icelandic. It's just an experience. I think it's an experience to listen to. I really do. I think it is. It kind of now has set a bit of a bar for me with what I expect other folk/power/Viking metal bands to be able to do. You know, I think there's going to be very, very difficult for a lot of bands in them genres to top an album like this.
Yeah.
And now I've listened to this, it's almost like I'm going to compare that. This is the album I'm going to compare other albums to.
Glad you just said that. Today, I listened to a similar album that's in a similar vein to Skalmold, and I had that problem where this is a good album.
Yeah.
But all I kept thinking was, this has been done better recently. Now, Skalmold was fairly new to me. Yeah. I didn't hear it for quite a while until, in fact, probably the last 2 weeks. And it jumped up that quick, kind of thing.
I mean, it's a special album. I do genuinely, you know, whether it's number 1, number 10, whatever, I think it only takes a couple bars of the first song, or first couple of songs, when you hear that tone they have when the guitars come in, and you'll be like, you're interested instantly. You're like, it does. There's no build up with it. There's no like song on it that's maybe, oh, this one didn't really hit home for me. There's no like, oh, waiting for it to kick in. It's like notes 1 of track 1 plays and it's straight into this guitar driven riff, and that's what you get all the way through. All the way through. Little stops every now and then for a bit of melody. Vocals are strong. Nice and unclean as well. When they, you know, it's not always what you get in these.
No,
music.
for sure.
They're barked and they're rough, and that in a way that almost makes the fact that you couldn't understand what he said anyway because he's singing in Icelandic almost like not an issue, because I'm not sure I would have understood him if he was singing in English. You know.
But yeah, it does. And that sort of side of thing never matters. Because ultimately, and I love the way you put it. It's like it's at no point do you think, oh, that maybe didn't work as well, or that didn't quite hit, or you know, that track was just a bit more pedestrian. You know,
the thing you do with all of these lists, you have to do it is, although we mean it, as in I genuinely believe 100% that Sorgear is the best album that was released this year. I do mean that. However, you know, we're also aware this is a purely opinion-based game, isn't it? And what you end up doing is like I list them as in what impact they had on me, and that's what I had my 50. And then I was like, okay, when I was trying to place them, I was going by impact. And that's why, for example, I moved Tribulations.
Right,
because
fair
I was like,
days.
Massive initial impact, faded out at the
end of the year.
Faded out,
really fascinating.
Do I think I'll still be listening to Sorgear next year? Absolutely. Just like I will with Jord. Just like I will with pretty much every album in my top 10. And, you know, the ones in your top 10, I'm sure it'll be the same for you. And that's why they're in the top 10. It's not like a spur of the moment, or I got blown away by this album. It's the fact that over the 6 months it's been out, like, it's not, I mean, I literally will have days, I went to work like a couple of days ago, where I just decided I'm just going to listen to that, and I just listened to the album all the way through. It's like a couple of days ago, all the way to work, and then on the way back, it's like, oh, I might listen to it again. You know, because it's still impacting today. So I'm a massive champion of these guys. Really, I'm hoping, right, I've done a bit of research into it, as you do from a band afterwards, right? And Skalmold are a reasonably big name in Europe, which we get sometimes with these bands. You know, they haven't maybe quite reached any kind of pinnacle over here.
Oh, for sure, no way.
In their homeland, they're massive.
It's one of those,
And they do these special events, which they haven't done one for a year or two, but they've done them about 4 or 5 times at this huge arena or stadium. I don't even know what it is. It might just be a venue in Reykjavik, where they play with the like 90-piece Icelandic symphonic orchestra.
Oh wow!
And they do a 3-day stint there, where they play each night. And they've been doing this for quite a while, and apparently, like from what I was reading on, apparently it is a fucking spectacle to behold.
It must be,
with
yeah.
his skull mold with his 90-piece orchestra. It's essentially S&M, but with skull mold instead of Metallica.
We know how I feel about S&M.
Yeah. And I was just like, do you know what? I remember seeing a little snippet on it when I was Googling something, and I was like, I'm going. Like, honestly, if they do that next year, I'm going. Why would I not do that? Iceland's like an hour away in a fucking plane.
Yeah, nice little holiday as well, yeah.
I was like on there, so I couldn't get tickets now, but there was no like sign of whether they're going to do it or not this year. But I was like, yeah, that'd be fucking amazing.
That would be actually, that's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
There you go, that's the 10 best albums of 2018 according to Brendan, according to me. As you can see, we have similar tastes as always, certain things. And I think 100% fact that all the ones in his 10 are in my 50. Yeah. All the ones in my 10...
Most of them, there's one or two that
in vain and stuff like that, yeah. What in your top 50. That's how close it often is. We share the same taste, but as you can see, our numbering, our systems, how what impacts us and what we enjoy is always different. Our number ones are not, I wouldn't say miles apart at all in sound and stuff like that. I think we both always leaned way towards the heavier stuff. Like, I don't know if there's a pop punk record in my top 50. Don't know if there was a good enough one this year.
I absolutely know there isn't in mine.
I'm trying to think.
I was trying to think. Like, do you think there is a single album in your top 50 that? Oh no, that doesn't work because there's already some in your top 10. Right. Here's my question for you. Right. Is there an album in your top 50 that we haven't reviewed?
No.
Yeah. See, there's one in mine.
Oh, interesting.
And actually, you know what? Right, 3 times now I've said what my number 11 is, and I think actually this was my number 11. But we didn't review it because we come up to the party too late.
What?
Alien Weaponry.
Oh fuck yeah! You're right. I mean, oh good. You know what? I didn't even consider it.
We didn't. Well, we knew who they were.
Wow, yeah.
But we didn't review the album. We didn't review the album when it came out. We heard all the fuss and all that sort of stuff, and it was only because we saw them at
Bloodstock.
At Bloodstock that we were like, shit, that's awesome. And this was a good few months after the album had come out.
Yeah, you're right.
So we didn't go back and review it. I remember when I went through the list on it, and then I was looking through other articles on the internet, and I just kept seeing it pop up, and I was like, of course. But anyway,
you're right. Yeah, you're right. It didn't even cross my mind.
Give it an honorary 51st position.
Yeah. You're right. Great album as well. Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's the top 10. We're not done yet, though. Don't go anywhere. Sit your ass back down. Because we're now going to talk about just general good things that happened this year. Things tongue-in-cheek as much as anything else. Anything off the top of our heads, because I already have one. I was thinking about it.
This is not scripted at all.
No, we completely decided in this, 5 minutes before I turned the damn camera and microphone on. But I've got my first one. This is a funny one. It's a silly one.
Go on, you go.
Right, one of the things I loved about 2018 was that I fell back in love with Andrew WK. For a weird reason. Now, you might think, what?
His six-pack?
No, what it was, right, so, we all know who Andrew WK is. He did Party Hard, and that's about it. Bigger fan to say, oh no, he had other songs and all that, but let's be honest, he had Party Hard, and that was it, And he fell off my radar completely. Go and read, I would give anyone advice, go and read the conspiracy theory surrounding his identity as one of the most batshit, craziest things you'll ever read. According to the conspiracy theorists, I'll give you a brief overview, is that Andrew WK is not a real man, and has been played by actors. And the evidence, it is insane.
Okay.
I didn't even know about it till this, but basically he released an album this year called You're Not Alone. And it's nothing special. I think I gave it 6 or 7 out of 10 as an act, because what I love, but the reason why I give it that high was I already knew that he was a motivational speaker and all that, but I didn't know how that would translate into an album. And initially when I went into it, I was kind of like, well, I'm going to review the album for the site, it'll be cool, party anthems is what he does, and so on. And I didn't get that. But there are 1 or 2 tracks, but they're the negative side of things. What I got was an album that was one of the most uplifting, positive messages, positivity albums, and I was actually genuinely blown away by how good it made me feel about how there's 1 or 2 tracks where he gets his messages mixed, where suddenly it's like, I've got to throw in a party anthem that hopefully will sell, records and stuff like that. But the likes of You're Not Alone and the actual song You're Not Alone really, really touched me. I was like, wow, this is really nice. Not great. We're not talking great music here. We're talking good music. And I just thought, damn, man, this whole positivity thing he's got going on, I buy it. I buy it. I believe it. I bought into it. And I thought it was fucking cool. So it kind of just sort of made me reappreciate. Made me appreciate, because I never appreciated Andy WK. Party Hard was a song that you heard. Wouldn't say I was a fan at all. But, this was like, oh, okay, there's more to this dude than a white sweaty t-shirt and partying hard, basically.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Yeah, that's my first one. Suppose
Must be something positive that happened this year.
Yeah, I suppose. I suppose one we can talk about as well. It's come up quite a bit in these conversations. Is and it is a positive in a way. Machine Head's Catharsis and how they approached the album, I guess, in regards to doing what they want to do. Particularly Bastard and the message that it was sent out. There's a lot of negative that can be said about it, and it would probably pop up in our negative video as much as anything else.
Yeah.
But I think on reflection now, the older it is starting to age and stuff like that, it's like, okay, I think it's still probably one of the more satisfying in that sense. When the term catharsis is quite fair, really.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it is.
You know?
I mean, you know, like we don't do this top songs of the year or anything like that. But Bastards for me is one of the top songs of the year, like one of the best songs that's been released this year. I genuinely believe that. In the terms again of like one that's had the most impact on me.
Yep.
I didn't really get offended by the words in it.
It was,
you know, I understand. We spoke about it before about
Yep.
whether it could have been delivered differently or not, but I never felt offended
Yep.
by what he said. I never took it the wrong way. I don't think. I always felt like I took it the way that he meant it. I think for me, this year, away from just catharsis and Rob being a bit of a hero of mine.
Yes.
Actually, this year, Rob, for the most part, has acted really positively. He's done a lot of things that I quite like and respect him for.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, in terms of good things that have happened this year, I think it's quite cool that Rob's kind of been out there in somewhat people's eyes, stirring shit up.
Yeah.
In more honest people's eyes, just speaking truth.
Yeah.
I think is what he's kind of done. You know, the whole Dime Bash.
Oh yeah.
Kind of white power, Phil Anselmo stuff. Bastards again.
Yep.
You know, it's cool to see a hero out just laying it out there and just saying, do you know what? I'm gonna let you all know exactly what I feel about this shit.
Yeah. It is one of the it is because you know you're a musician. You get put in front of press and stuff like that, and often a lot of the times I guess you've got to toe the line.
Yeah. The last thing anyone needs in music is their heroes or their frontmen to think they shouldn't speak, to be fearful of speaking their mind. I mean, that's truly the whole point of metal, to a degree. Is like that's what we do. People don't always like it. We sometimes say naughty words. Yeah. We sometimes shout.
And scream and swear. And yep, it's all part and parcel of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a great one. You know, the more outspoken people, no matter what their opinions. I'm going to use another example about being outspoken. It's a controversial view, but I admire OMS for their stance on animal testing. You know, they've got a hardline stance on it. You can take that as you will. You know, and so on. But I admire the fact that this is what they made no bones about it. It's just part of their music as much as anything else.
Yeah.
A lot of their music is related to the charities as well. It's kind of like, look, we've got this thought, and we've got this opinion, and so on, and this is what it's going to be. We're not going to shy away from that because some people don't like it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know. And yeah, I think that's cool. You know, it's a lot of the time our music is driven by some form of inspiration, be it disasters, politics. You know, death and so on. So absolutely, you know, we talked recently in the Metallica 10 Things We Hate, and when I was editing the video a few days ago, I was laughing to myself over the fact that you were talking about crap lyrics in regards to James and singing certain ones of them and stuff like that. And it was just a sharp reminder that man, like sometimes you don't take the lyrics and the meanings and the context, and it's like, oh, actually, a lot of our bands, you know, Machine Head is the example here, really take that and run with that, you know. And he does Bastards, regardless of controversial wording or not at certain points. If you listen to the lyrics, it's a positive message.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I like that. I like positivity in metal, you know. Another thing that's really been great this year, Gojira proving that they are headline material at Bloodstock this year. I don't think there was a massive amount of controversy when they got given the slot, you know, usual kind of people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they blew Bloodstock away. I don't think anyone had a negative thing to say about that.
Yeah, if they did, they were lying.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
They were lying or they weren't there. Anybody who was there, like, yeah, you didn't come out of that thinking like, these guys shouldn't headline.
Absolutely.
The only thing you come out of that thinking is, God, we'll never see them headline here again, will we?
Oh yeah.
If they don't go from this on to fucking headlining Wacken and headlining Hellfest and headlining fucking every other festival out there, then what can you do as a band?
And yeah, I mean, continuing it with the sort of theme of bands step them up, we've already talked about them, but Parkway Drive, particularly in regards to the stage show, we only got a taster of it when we were at a short show where they did like 5 or 6 songs.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was like 4, wasn't it? 4 songs.
Yeah.
3 from the new album and 1 from the second.
Yeah, and it was brilliant.
Yeah. A lot of people enjoyed that. Like, you know, like we were there and we watched it go down, and I know it's a different crowd. I do. You know, this is a Metal Hammer sort of thing, so you might think maybe they're more Metal Hammer
downloady,
kind of band fans, but if you got like 3 or 4 songs to make an impact, like they made an impact in 3 or 4 songs. You know, like it was. I've listened to the album. It's great. Get on stage show. Considering they're only doing a couple of songs, it was like amazing how much that they brought and put into it.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm not going to go into a big Parkway Drive speech again.
Yeah, we've already had one of them. Yeah.
But it's not about Parkway Drive. That's the thing. It's not. It's about bands being able to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm immensely proud of any band that takes a step up, manages to keep relevant and good on the way, and I think it's fantastic. I really hope more bands do it.
Yep.
And more start challenging those bigger guys above, saying,
"Your time's done.
Move over. Yeah, let me on that stage."
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
We don't need Def Leppard
we
again.
Need then is hopefully the booking agents or whatever to then have the balls to say, "Yeah, it's someone else's time now." You know.
Not only that, we also need the fans to, we need you to do your bit as well. Parkway Drive playing Alexandra Palace in London in February isn't going to mean much if it's half full.
No.
You know, you need to be going to these shows. And that lineup's incredible, people. Come on, man. 2019, Killswitch Engage Support, Die As Murder, first band on. Yep. That's 3 pretty damn good bands. So that's a hell of a show if you're on the fence. And it's pretty reasonable price, I think, as well.
Yeah, it's about 40 quid.
Yeah, which is
for 3 bands at Ali Pali is a bargain, actually.
Absolutely. So maybe like don't give Metallica that extra ticket money.
Yeah.
Go give Parkway Drive it, you know. Of course, you know that. So yeah, and it's there's been a number of bands that even I guess it's more personally, but that we've seen and at least in the buzz and so on that have kind of making more of a name. We've mentioned a couple of them already, like a Conjurer, but Alien Weaponry is another one, and it's just nice to see this fuss being made, and where it's like okay, we already believe there's a future in metal. We don't agree with people saying there isn't and stuff like that because they're just not looking in the right places. But whether we like it or not, we do require on the big publications to throw their weight behind these people as well, so the record labels and all that can get a bit on board and things like that. So it's good to see that, as much as they think it's only a handful of bands out of what is hundreds and thousands of bands, but it's a start.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. How many years has gone by where we always wondered like who's going to be next on them headlines? You know, what about when Slayer, Metallica, Ozzy, everyone stopped?
Yep.
What about when they've all stopped?
Yep.
You know, who goes next?
Yeah.
And there's a worry that there's nobody stepping up. And I'm not saying that they're there yet, but at the moment there are a couple at least that look like, you know what, they might, and they're not all bands I like. Avenged Sevenfold are probably the most likely, and they have been for a while, to become that next major headliner that ends up headlining almost every year at different festivals.
Yeah.
Gojira now will hopefully be that one on the heavier side of things.
Yep.
And Parkway Drive are not at Gojira's level yet because they have yet to do it and prove that they can hold it. But you can't do that until you get given a chance, can you? Mm-hmm. You know? So yeah. Yeah.
Another sort of positive I think as well is, although I didn't love the album, I thought it was very, very good. It was nice to see Architects
I was gonna
deal with...
I was going to kind of touch on this from a more of a blanket thing, because actually there's a negative in, like, obviously the kind of mental health issues that seem to plague not just people in metal, but sometimes it's more prominent in metal because they write about it.
Yep.
And or the grieving and dealing with death and cancer and all that sort of stuff. And this year there have been a fair few albums, including Architects, which have almost been like a way to get past that grief. You know, I think Architects coming out and being able to finish that album, get it out there, get it done, an album that, or at least there are a collection of songs in there that almost act as a trilogy of their stages of grief.
Yeah, yeah.
We had a similar thing with Our Hollow, Our Home, where it's a whole album basically dedicated to that exact thing, where it's split into 3 subsections.
That's right, yeah.
Sorry, 5 sections of different stages of grief. And there's also, like, there's probably loads more, but there was, where is it? Oh, I can't even. There's an EP that's in my top 10 EPs of the year.
Yeah, go on.
Which was one of those single track EPs, but the track's like 18 minutes long.
Oh, yeah.
And it is one of the most heartbreaking people pouring their emotions out onto a microphone that I'd ever heard. Ever.
Yeah.
You know, ending with like the guy almost sounds like he's crying down the mic as he's screaming to his dying parent, "Won't you stay a little longer?" And it's not about, I know this sounds like it's a real negative, but all those sorts of music, what I find that they do is that actually, if you ever suffer from depression or you're in a bad place or anything like that, listening to other people not grieve but dealing with it, starting grieving and then coming out the other end of it, is very, very helpful, and almost like the sort of thing that might help people get through their own issues. It's like they're like self-help albums to a degree. You know, I know that for a fact that if somebody in my family passed away from cancer, listening to something like Our Courage, Our Cancer by While She Sleeps would help me.
Yeah.
Just like listening to Our Hollow, Our Homes in Moment in Memory from this year would help me. You know, and that's the thing about it. I think it's great that in metal we appear to be... Right, there's a big thing about like men not talking out about these things and all that, and people always being down and no one wanting to talk about it. I love it when the metal band get together and decide that we don't go for any of that bullshit, we just put it all out there, and they put it all down on the on a record.
Yeah.
All their emotions, all their depressions, all their fears, everything like that. Because then the people that don't talk about it listen to it, and I think it makes them more open. So to me, it's almost like heavy metal are addressing these issues head on.
And I definitely think,
actually, you know, we buck the trend. We'll talk about it.
And I think that's definitely been way more prominent this year than any other year. Well, at least either that or we become more aware of it.
I think we've become more aware of it because, not just this year, but in previous years, there's been obviously like quite a few high-profile deaths.
Yeah.
From suicide, depression. So there's not even people that are dying. That's the thing. There's all these stories that come out about the people that are going through shit times, like Five Finger Death Punch drummer.
Yep.
Cannibal Corpse
guitarist. Yep.
So it is there. It's there in our eyes anyway. But rather than it be something that we'll ignore, metal seems to be facing it head on by saying, actually, we're going to buck the trend here and we are going to talk about it, and our album is going to specifically deal with depression.
Yep.
And our album's going to deal with suicide.
Yep.
And I think it's fantastic
Absolutely.
that metal as a whole, not one genre, not little one
No,
band,
all of us,
metal as a whole is seeing this as a fucking issue. And it's going, Joe, what we're going to address, we're going to challenge it, we're going to take it on.
I'm very glad you said that, because then it brings me to these next 2 points. One, I love Brandon, absolutely right. I hope you 100% agree and you were touched by his words, because it's incredibly moving. I already listened to an album that's coming out in January, very, very early January. The one you laughed about earlier on with the length of name.
Oh,
right. Entirely based around suicide of a friend.
Yeah.
And trust me, the lyrics alone are like, holy fuck, whoa. But there's also an EP this year that came out by a British band called Deadwood Lake, Forgotten Hymns. Now, Deadwood Lake, very important here, was a band created in tribute to the lead singer's brother who died. Originally, they were just going to be a studio band that wrote songs in tribute to him.
Yeah.
Since then, it's evolved into a live band and stuff like that. How fucking incredible is that? Take a horrible event and use it. You know? That you're right. It's a positive thing. You know, it sounds talking about touchy subjects. So it sounds negative, but it's not. It's been said in a positive way that we're changing, and metal is the catalyst for that more than any other genre.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, generally, you're not seeing Justin Bieber coming out doing a song about how he's suffering with depression.
Baby,
still out twerking and grinding people.
You know? Yeah. No, absolutely right. Right, move on. You touched upon it already. We won't do a list, but highlight some of the best EPs we've heard this year, because we didn't really think. So I'm just going to fly through some that you should definitely check out. So I already mentioned Deadwood Lake's Forgotten Hymns. Check that bad boy out. 6 Hours to Kill, Faith and Misery Volume 1. There's a very talented band right there. Soul Dissolution. Now, no stranger to me again in this site. Their album, Stardust, is actually, I think it's number 12 or 13 on my list.
Right.
But the EP would be arguably number 1, potentially. This is Soul Dissolution's Nowhere could very well be my number 1 EP of the year. This is a very, very talented band. Voland, who released Voland 2, a 4-track EP. Now, the reason I want to highlight this one is basically this is a Russian band, and there was a theme behind it which was to do with, I think, the 1918 Russian Revolution.
What were they rushing for?
And this EP, I think, I couldn't. If I could say to you, this sounds Russian, and it's incredible how cool it is.
Right.
Hypnosister. This is one of the more weirder ones on there, in the sense that I think you'd hate it.
Okay.
I think you would hate it because it's definitely is towards the more pop rock side of things. Guy's incredibly talented. Trying to think more. A Cunning Man to Heal a Broken Body. Scottish folk / rock metal. There's a lot right on mix there. We're going to leave off a couple of these because we've already done them. You've got them as well.
Yeah.
Dream Troll.
Yeah. So Dream Troll's a Witch's Curse. I think. Well, I love Dream Troll anyway. I think they're awesome. Bit old school. A little bit of a retro kind of throwback.
Yeah.
With a bit of fantasy element to it as well, which I quite like.
It's a lot of fun as much as anything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's great fun.
Rotten Kingdom.
I've got Democritus on mine.
Yep.
Starting Again. That's the name of it. I was just lost in it there for a minute. That's one of those ones where I think it was backed up by seeing them.
Yeah.
I think if I'd listened to it on its own, I would have liked it, but not been overly, go back to it time and time again.
Yep.
Then we saw them live, and that backs it up, and then you're like, you kind of almost like the EP more than the back of it.
Yeah.
Empyrean Atrophy by Caster Stone.
Don't know this one.
Very, very heavy. What else have we got? Beautiful Ruin by Converge. Older band Converge, but kind of not normally my cup of tea. Kind of delves a little bit into the hardcore side of things, but I very much enjoyed their EP. 2 by Dark Buddha Rising.
Yeah, never heard of this.
Oh my god, what's the name? There's only 2 songs on the EP. Interestingly, which one probably was called 2.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And track 1 is called Something 1. I can't remember the word now. Something 1, and track 2 is called Something 2. The very long song. Lots of. It's very dark. It's doomy, black kind of metal, and they wind on. But it's very exciting stuff. Very interesting. It's not exciting, it's not the work, because it doesn't get your blood pumped.
No.
It's
a different kind of excitement, isn't it?
Kind of excitement.
Yeah. Just a small time. Godthrim's a grand reclamation. I'm surprised you like the EP.
Yeah.
Considering...
I mean, the problem is a lot of the time is that because you're reviewing stuff, I'm reviewing stuff, right? That's what we're doing. Because of time and because every 7 days a whole new wave of music comes out, I don't always get time to go and listen to everything that you've reviewed.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Positively. And that's probably why you come in to say Saw Gear so late.
Yeah.
If you weren't reviewing so much of the other stuff, you probably would have picked that up and heard it much earlier.
Yeah.
But every now and then, there's a couple that I do try and grab. I'm actually not massive on Godthrim.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They were at Bloodstock, weren't they?
Yeah.
And I didn't find their show to be all that.
Yeah, I gave it 9 out of 10. I think you gave it a 6. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it, but nothing special. But I did enjoy the EP. That's the thing. I enjoy listening to it better on my music player than I did so much in the live show. However, saying that, I did do them the other way round. I didn't listen to the EP until...
Right, yeah.
I mean, the EP came out after, but I hadn't listened to them prior to seeing them.
Yeah, of course. I was already quite familiar with them.
Then it was only because I saw there was an EP out there, and I knew the name, and I was like, I didn't really enjoy them at Bloodstock. I'll give it another go. And now, and then I was like, okay. Now I'm like, if I saw them now that I know these couple of tracks,
you might be more into it.
I'll probably enjoy it a bit more.
I love Godthrim as well. There's some big names in Godthrim, and they talk. They're good people. I'm always blown away for a site as small as ours. If any of the big bands will give us the time of day, and Godthrim have given us the time of day, and been nothing but polite and nice people to us. That doesn't colour my view. in the sense that they're just fucking great, and I love them at Bloodstock.
Yeah, no, you do.
Yeah, they were one of my top 10 live fucking shows.
And speaking of loving that Bloodstock,
yep,
and probably would
you segued.
I did, but you ruined it.
I can't help it.
True Believer was one of my other favourite EPs of the year.
Yeah.
Something I listened to because I heard they were playing at Bloodstock, and I thought, I'll check out a few of these bands I've not heard of, and absolutely loved it. Aussie band.
Yeah.
What genre would you class them as?
It's
like hard rock.
Yeah.
It is quite hard, isn't it? It's not like hard rock. I don't think does it quite justice.
I mean, because you go AC/DC are a hard rock band, and they're not that. They're not that.
No.
You know, it's hard rock.
It's more like a
faster
Mastodon sort of sound. I don't know. Either way, they're a very, very interesting band. They're very, very good. The EP's only got 3 tracks on it, but of reasonable length. Having seen them live, they backed that up live. They're better live than they are in the EP.
Yeah, so you love them.
I thought they were fantastic.
I thought they were
and
good.
It isn't really my cup of tea, normally. You know, it's clean singing for the most part. Shouted clean.
Yep.
You know, it's not like...
it's very energetic,
Brian Adams or anyone like that.
No, yeah.
You know. And the bassist or guitarist looks like a character out of Vikings, which also helps.
Well, as we're on the Bloodstock conversation, one of the areas I wanted to touch upon was this year we got to see a lot of New Blood bands, more than... Because it was kind of our focus this year for the first time ever, because we were there as press for once as well.
Yeah.
And I always got to meet a lot of them. I think we should touch upon some of them. You've already mentioned Democratus. Who were, easily one of the best New Blood bands of the weekend. Could see what the fuss is about in our country. One of the nicest things has been about really pushing ourselves to let's focus on the future, which is what we wanted the site to be and what we're building on. Is we've discovered, I think, that the British metal scene, small as it is probably stronger now than I've ever realised it was.
Yeah.
Particularly, I've got to say, up north.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much down our end of the woods in Kent.
We got too much to do, haven't we? They got nothing to do up there.
Yeah.
Hang out in garages making music, don't they?
From Bristol. But mind you, Democrats are Cardiff, aren't they? So
somewhere in Wales. Yeah.
But Sheffield, where Iona from, who are incredible. Neither of us are particularly, me more so. I'm not a fan of symphonic metal. You're on and off, I think.
Yeah, it depends. I used to like Nightwish, and then Nightwish turned me off of the genre a bit. Actually, with all the changes. It's nothing to do with the music. It was to do with all the Nightwish bollocks. So it was actually quite refreshing to catch Aonia there, and they kind of reversed that. They turned me back onto the genre a bit. You know.
Yeah, I think so too. I think and their album The Seven, which was out this year as well, a couple of months ago, is brilliant. It really is brilliant. Very, very impressive. And we talked. Well, we're going to give some insider here. We talked privately afterwards about who we'd spoken to, who we'd seen, and who we thought had real chance to go forward. And real chance of a massive future. And we both agreed it was Iona. I'm not saying the name right. This is a fucking...
It's that IA at the end. Aonia.
Aonia, sorry guys.
But they're probably going, no, Cole, you're right. Brendan's doing it wrong.
If you watch me all the time, you know how much I struggle when it comes to complex. I know it's only 5 letters, but Jesus Christ. But it's me. We both agreed this was one that we saw had a huge future. I mean, God almighty, they put the wrong festival on.
Yeah.
They've only done the debut album, and it's the Fest 3 next year. Lovely people to talk to.
Lovely people.
Characters.
Their music backs up the rest of it. But, you know, in a boring way, they're a very markable band because they're just genuine people with great music, but they have unique selling points.
Yeah.
You know, these 2 soprano singers, everything like that. It's not unique to have a singer doing that in a band. It is unique to have the 2 doing it in a kind of harmonised fashion.
Yeah.
You know, I think that makes them stand out from the crowd.
I think it does too.
And like I said, it's not just that you go, that's why they're good, because it's the rest of it too. The guitars are great, the drums are great, the keys are great. They work well as a unit. They look genuinely comfortable with each other and happy to play together, and they look like they're having a great fucking time. And that, like we always say, translates onto the crowd. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I hope, hope we're not wrong. I hope it does work, and they do go on to bigger and better things and everything like that. But
Yeah, because it is, as Brendan said, I think one of the most highest praises we can give to a band like that is that you've re-energized us into a genre that we both had fallen out of love with.
Yeah.
And that says a lot, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So if you haven't checked them out now, do. The album, I think it came out end of October was beginning.
Yeah, it wasn't
beginning
that
October.
long.
It was during the fest.
Back,
I can't remember quite the date, but so it's only been out a couple of months, not long at all. Who else from the New Blood at Bloodstock?
From the New Blood, who else did we see in the New Blood that we liked? Earthbound.
Earthbound, yes.
Earthbound were great.
Yes.
Very enjoyed them.
Yeah, they were really, really good. Really
great Tash and Hair, the singer.
Yeah.
Cracking job there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were good. Really enjoyed them. I'm not struggling to remember the band. I'm struggling to remember if they were on that stage.
Okay, yeah, because there was obviously someone in Jaeger as well.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Seven Hells.
Seven Hells.
Did we see them on that stage?
Yeah. Seven Hells were great.
Yeah, Seven Hells were actually. When we spoke about what we said about Aonia, they were the other band that we were saying.
Yeah.
And Seven Hells actually.
Yeah.
A lot of the bands actually, when we interviewed them, they name dropped Seven Hells as
did
one that was a level above where they currently were. And when we went to see them, with all due respect to a lot of the other bands we saw, you see that. There's like an air of professionalism.
Just it's like no negativity in any band, but like the likes of Seven Hells, you're there like so high, and then Seven Hells just like one step ahead, and that's what it was, And very, very impressed by them, absolutely. And here's the most fun thing as well: a lot of the bands we saw and so on and talked to and stuff like that, we're not that old. No. But man, oh man, did I feel old?
Yeah.
Because they're young.
I am that old.
And you think, God, these guys are so young and they're already here at New Blood stage at Bloodstock.
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing. So impressive. Although they didn't play the New Blood stage, they played the Jägermeister stage. Massive shout out to Alpha Omega, who really blew me away. One of the highlights of the weekend.
Norwich, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. They ended up playing the Jägermeister stage, even though they went for the Metal to the Masses, like a lot of the other bands did. They got the Jägermeister slot, and it was rocking. And one of the things that really impressed me about their set, it started off with maybe 20 people, didn't end that way. That tent slowly filled up as people were sort of like, oh, okay.
Pulled a crowd in, didn't they, by the end of it.
Yeah.
And also on the Jägermeister stage, just as a
and
real off, you probably know who I'm going to say.
Yeah, waiting for this,
Kamikaze test pilots.
Of course.
I mean, I know that they're quirky. I don't know how far quirky gets you. It depends, doesn't it? It depends if magazines and then labels back you. But genuinely, they're amazing to watch. Amazing to listen to, amazing to watch. They're just a really exciting band. So...
Yeah.
There you go. Jägermeister stage was very strong at Bloodstock as well.
Kamikaze test pilots are from South Africa, aren't they?
This is a bit of a strange one actually. They're actually from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Or some members of the bands are. However, I believe, I may be incorrect in saying this, I do believe they're UK based now.
Right, okay.
But I could be wrong in saying that.
But yeah, one of the other things I thought I'd sort of jump on here as well is the rise of seeing metal come from continents and countries that not normally used to. The rise of South African metal. You talk to anyone involved in that scene, and I've got to know a lot more thanks to some contacts over there, and reviewing stuff and hearing it and going, okay, there's a scene over there, but it's a very enclosed scene where there's a bit of a glass ceiling. And we actually had a conversation with one of the bands at Bloodstock from that scene, who it was incredible. One of the best interviews for Bloodstock. Go check that out on the video section on YouTube. Deity's Muse. And probably 4 frontrunners for us anyway, at least in the metal side of things, from South Africa. And it just really opened my eyes. And it's not just them. I also want to give a shout out to Australia.
Yeah.
And one specific band. Because when you think of Australia, you think of rock. You think of Airborne, you think of AC/DC, and that's what you think of. So to see a band like Christ Dismembered, and I'm sure there are more. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, we're a black metal band, we're a thrash metal band from Australia, send us your stuff, man. Send it to the site. Go to the site, go to the email, send it. Happily check it out. Because I'm absolutely interested to see breaking the norms and to get a black metal band, and I mean corpse-painted black metal band, who are also doing really well over there. Rise, it's fucking brilliant. Then there's the rise of Eastern European metal. And, that's not to say that it was ever negative, but I'm seeing more and more bands come up from Ukraine, from Poland and places like that, you know, who aren't your behemoths and stuff like that. I'm thinking, oh, this is fascinating, you know, really interesting. Because, you know, we're used to the Scandinavians, we're used to the American, we're used to, you know, Germans, German metal and so on. So getting these countries, and you've talked about already, but Zimbabwe, you know, it's fantastic.
No, it is great. It's great. It's great to see it all coming out. I mean, it's probably always been a scene there. It's just great that it's finally reaching this far.
Yeah. And I do think that's been one of the highlights of 2018, at least for us, you know, is just being more aware of this. And I don't know how much that is through the rise of streaming, YouTube and Bandcamp and stuff.
Maybe,
you know?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of it is helped by the fact that, you know, a lot of the bands that we've listed there, we've got to see at Bloodstock, which is, you know, so credit to Bloodstock because they're bringing them over.
Yes, we will always champion Bloodstock, and you can say, "Oh God, this lot of Bloodstock. Oh, you only like them because you go there and got press." We pay for our tickets every year.
Yeah, damn it.
We choose that because we want to go.
Yeah. And they haven't offered to pay for them for us. Well, we would still pay.
Yeah. Well, we'd
always want to go VIP with friends and stuff anyway. So.
Yeah. Put it this way, we've all already got our VIP tickets for 2019, so we're going. You know. So let's briefly touch upon. We're talking about Bloodstock Live. What other live shows this year would you be just like, yep, that's probably going to be the best live show or the live shows of the year? Now, I don't think either of us have done as much as we would have liked to this year. I know I definitely didn't.
My end of the year has fucking sucked for it, man. Yeah. There's been so much that I would have liked to have gone to, and we even could have gone to from the site perspective. Yep. But work is taken over and consumed all. Yep. So, yeah, not a great end of the year for me. I'm trying to think of what my favourite gigs of the year, or maybe some ones that were a little bit off the chain. One of my favourite of the year actually was Powerflow.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
Where was that? At the
Boston Music Room. Yeah.
When they had to review it for the site, I was a fan anyway. I'm not gonna pretend I wasn't. I quite like it, even though it's not really my normal music. It's a little rap, a little new metal, all that sort of stuff, man. But it's got some cool fucking people in the band. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, they are a super group. You know, and they deserve the titles.
Yeah, not just for random rock stars. You are talking about super
one's
people.
played in the band for 1 hour or something like that.
Yeah.
It's got Billy Grazidi from Biohazard, from
Billy Bio. Yeah.
Christian Old Wolbers.
Of course, X-Factory.
Yeah, but some big names.
T-Pain, is it? T-Pain, the front man?
Nah, Sendog.
Sendog, thank you. T-Pain, what am I thinking of? Who am I thinking of when I say T-Pain?
I don't know. That's
Cypress Hill. I think I might be thinking of Cypress Hill.
The Sendog
Someone's doing a nut now going, that goddamn guy doesn't know who T-Pain is?
Sendog was one of the two in Cypress Hill, but I can't remember what the name of the white... Because there's a black guy who was Sendog and there's a white guy who was like the two different...
I'm not sure, yeah.
But anyway, seeing them live, I remember being on that show and thinking first of all, it was close to sold out. You know, it felt like pretty crammed in.
The Boston Music was a lovely little venue, but if it's full, it feels full.
But I was I thought this isn't going to be. I'm not going to enjoy this because this is not because it was full, but because of the type of characters that were in there.
Ah, yeah.
There were a lot of people that looked like they had basically been dragged out of the 80s from a punk club or a hardcore club, and were thrown in here. There were people walking around with no tops on but braces on. Backward caps everywhere.
What an image.
You know, and it was there were massive geezers with shaved heads and arms like that, all walking around with their tops before the band had even fucking started. And I remember standing there thinking oh, it feels like this could just go off at any point. And it did go off, but it went off in a good way, in an energy way, and people were... The pit was amazing, everything was just bouncing. The band, unbelievable, absolutely fire. Every one of them, the thing is that every one of them, but especially having Sendog and Billy there, they're both frontmen. Yeah. And they both know how to work a crowd.
Absolutely.
So it's not one guy out there working a crowd while the rest play. It's two from two different angles, keeping it... So literally from the first note all the way through the end, it's this non-stop pool of energy. And when Sendog's maybe steps back a little bit, so Billy steps up and he's the energy, and it's just non-stop. It's unreal. A really, really cool experience. Yeah. I came out of there... I liked them anyway, that was the thing. It wasn't... They'd have to have really sucked for it to have changed my mind about them as a band. Yeah. I think they're great, I do. I think they're a breath of fresh air sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not necessarily my favourite gig of the year, but it's up there.
It's one that sticks in your mind for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was a while ago now. It was bloody earlier in the year, much earlier in the year, but I still remember it. Yeah. I still think about it.
You still think about it?
I do. Zealand.
The Village Underground, right?
Yeah, that
over the Electric Ballroom.
Yeah.
We've seen them twice this year.
Seen them twice this year. The only difference between the two of them was that the venue, weirdly, the Shoreditch Village Underground venue just had their sound better.
Yep.
That was it. There wasn't anything to ban either one. It was purely that one was better than that one because the venue just worked better for their sound. And maybe it was a little bit more exciting because we were at the album release.
Yeah.
We didn't know the songs that were going to be played. We hadn't heard them yet. We knew a couple of singles and we knew we were going to get Come On Down and Devil Is Fine.
Yeah.
And as each one played, and it was really heavy there and like very shaky, weren't it? The floor was like
that's right. Yeah, really felt
with these songs you hadn't heard before, but like it was so heavy, and you were like, yeah, this is brilliant. I'm gonna love this fucking album.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a real up there with probably close to my gig of the year. I think that one.
I think it would certainly be right up there. Yeah. I mean, I have my top 10 currently in front, and that is my actual top 10. That is the order. So, would you like to know what number 1 is?
You got sets in there as well. You got sets from Robert and shows. You got sets from Bloodstock in there as well.
Yeah, I chose because ultimately it's live, and I wanted to, but I didn't want to fill it because you probably could do a top 10 with Bloodstock alone.
Yeah.
But I chose basically 3 from Bloodstock that stood out the most: Gojira, Alien Weaponry, and Godthrim, which obviously which is just me, But yeah, like
you do your top 10, and then I'll tell you where you're wrong.
Okay, all right. Well, the number 1 gig of the year for me was Mole at the Electric Works in London on the 7th of November 2018. It might have only been 30 minutes, but holy fucking shit. I basically am like the biggest Mole fan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mole, send me some shit. Anyway, number 2 was Zealand Ardor at the Village Underground. Number 3 was Gojira at Bloodstock 2018. Number 4 was Conjurer at the Black Heart in Camden, which actually was back in February, the 22nd of February of this year. Number 5 was Machine Head at the Roundhouse in Camden in May. Not the best time we'd seen Machine Head, but here's the thing. It's like, not the best time, still makes it fucking great.
Yeah.
And the reason why I put why it still ranks so high is because we got songs from Catharsis this time around.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
We
got Bastards.
Yeah, basically. Number 6 was Ghostbath at the Electro Works, the headliner over Mole. Number 7 is Alien Referee. Number 8 is a bit of an interesting one, which is, people might go, really? Love Bites. Quite recent, at the end of November. And the reason being is because I kind of went in with not low expectations, but I wasn't like, I didn't really think much of it, and I got proven wrong. I enjoyed them at Bloodstock.
Yep.
But in this venue, the Islington Academy, they rocked it. They did brilliantly. They seemed like I thought, oh shit, this is a legit band. Right. Number 9, Orphan Land at the Underworld, way back at the beginning of the year again, 26th of February. And again, this is purely, as much about the situation, it had been snowing, it was cold as fuck, and the Underworld was pretty empty. And I was going in with low expectations because the last couple of times I've seen Orphan Land live, they'd failed to kind of really spark for me. But it was coming off the back of the new album, which I love, I really do.
Yeah.
And this was fucking great. And Godthrim's number 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
10. Good 10.
How am I wrong? You shouldn't tell me how I'm wrong.
I'll tell you how I'm wrong. I don't particularly like Love Bites.
Yeah, of course
So
you don't,
They can fuck off out of it. Well, I've not seen them outside of Bloodstock, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. Had you been there, I think you'd have enjoyed it.
I think Ghostbath were very, very good. I think the problem I had with Ghostbath was almost the fact that Mole was so good.
Yeah.
It almost overshadowed them to a degree. So
which is why Mole's won.
When I think of that gig, I don't even really... And I like Ghostbath a lot, I do. And they were great, don't get me wrong, they were great. But when I think of that gig there, it's hard to even remember Ghostbath were there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're almost
just
thinking about
focused on
Mole.
Yeah.
Like, it was like we were at a Mole show. Even though they were only there for 30 minutes and another band played for an hour after.
It's true.
You're like, oh yeah, we went to see Mole the other night. Which wasn't what I went there for. I went there to see Ghostbath.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, so other than that, I don't think you're not overly wrong. I'll let you have it.
No.
Gojira, Bloodstock, probably, if we were including sets, probably would be my number 1. Probably. Not definitely, but it'd definitely be in first or second, I think. It's like probably the most mind fucking blowing show. The thing with that, and it's the same with all of your top few that you've got there, is that the Gojira one is the perfect 10 out of 10, isn't it? Because there was nothing that we could possibly say that could have been better.
Yep.
You know, that's the thing I was struggling. If you go, like, if you could change one thing about that show, what
would you change?
Like, I don't think you could. It was just perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Maybe the weather.
Yeah. That's
You know
about
what I mean?
But yeah.
But yeah. So it's been a good year. I hope to get to more shows next year. That's the plan.
That's
it's always
the
the plan, though, isn't it? It's always the plan.
Yep.
There's already a fair few in the pipeline.
Yep. Including
Looking
Metal to
forward
the
to.
Masters Essex.
Metal to the Masters in Essex, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Starting in actually only a few weeks away now.
Yep, only a few weeks.
Yeah, which is great. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
What else have we got coming up? We got Tourasas with Corpiclani.
Yep.
We got Parkway Drive with Killswitch Engage with Die Artist Murder.
Yep.
While She Sleeps.
While She Sleeps.
The Roundhouse.
I've got Avatar in January.
Yep.
Incineration Fest. Yeah, I think there's
yeah.
more. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's definitely more on the horizon. I have to cautiously book now.
Of course.
Just because I don't want to pay like 40 quid for a fucking ticket and then be like, oh damn, I didn't get to go there.
Yeah, of course.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So, but yeah.
But yeah, so that's the best of 2018, really, in a nutshell. You know, yeah, that's about it.
Happy Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yep. And
Christmas is already gone.
Just in case you're wondering, we are going to do a worst.
Of course we are.
Of course.
And we have plenty to say.